Former President Trump speaking last night to the nation and to many of his supporters after he was arraigned in court in Manhattan, taking aim at the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, during what appeared to be a campaign-style speech that we've become used to from his residence in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. This was just hours after the unprecedented arraignment in Manhattan. Joining us this morning, political strategist Kevin Madden, who served as a senior advisor to Mitt Romney's presidential campaigns. The political ramifications of this, there are many, but the speech last night was much of what we have seen before, and I think there was a thought going into it. We might see something a little different given the events of yesterday. Did the former president miss an opportunity to reach out to people beyond his base who may have tuned in?
Yeah, I mean, he never misses an opportunity to miss that opportunity. I think the president is always, our former President Trump is always very focused on the here and now. And the here and now is about rallying his base. I think if I were to find two words that were really accurately describe the president's current tone and his approach with that speech at Mar-a-Lago, it was first defiance, which is he's going to, fight the charges and make sure that anybody who is seen as on the attack against him pays a price for that. And then attack, which is he's going to attack anybody that he perceives as a political opponent. And that's Alvin Bragg, the Democrats, and even Republicans that don't stand in line with him and defend him against these charges. So I expect this tone and tenor of the president to be one that we're going to see again and again in the context of this particular legal case.
You can't downplay the importance of rallying the base, right? Everybody does it. We know that. But is that enough moving forward?
Look, I think in the long term, Marnie, your point is exactly right. It's not enough. Right now, the president is very focused on what I would describe as like the first order effect, which is essentially trying to activate the GOP or Republican antibodies here, right? Trying to rally as many base Republicans as he can to his defense, reminding them that his position in this case is at stake, and therefore their position in this case needs to be at stake. But the longer term effect here is that the president could ultimately face a level of fatigue, not only from Republican voters, but from those voters that are going to make or break a general election in 2024. Now, that's very far off. But what we always see with instances like this with the president is that rallying effect has a tendency to sort of ebb over time. And that's where the president's political fortunes, they just get much harder because you can't win with just the base anymore. You have to win with that big, pragmatic, persuadable middle.
And I was scanning the crowd last night based on the camera shots that we were provided. I saw the My Pillow guy. I saw Roger Stone. I saw some members of Trump's immediate family. I didn't see them all. Those were the notable people I saw in attendance, but there were a lot of people I didn't see. What do you make of that?
Well, I think the president is always leans on his most ardent supporters during times like this, and many sort of Republican other elected officials. They try to keep their distance. So I think that's where maybe the opportunity comes for those who are declared candidates inside a Republican primary. If you're Ron DeSantis, if you're Nikki Haley, or if you're Tim Scott, somebody who's thinking about getting into the race, there is an opportunity here. But the alternative to Trump can't be made on its own. One of these candidates has to really go out there and offer themselves as an alternative and really drive a hard contrast against Trump. Otherwise, the president is going to continue to rely on those base voters, and he's going to be harder to beat in the context of a Republican primary.
And you brought up Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Mum's the word from him on this right now. He came out in defense of the former president immediately, but he's talking about a lot of other things and staying out of the spotlight by and large. Smart political move for him right now?
Only in the short term, Marnie. You can't be quiet inside a Republican primary forever. These voters are not going to make up their minds on their own. You have to go out and make a case. Trump has taken the party in the wrong direction, continues to have one legal distraction after the other. Beyond this case here in Manhattan, there's the Fulton County case, and then there's the federal investigation on obstruction with the documents down in Mar-a-Lago. And then ultimately, he's keeps costing Republicans seats. It keeps costing Republicans elections. So Ron DeSantis and others that are, deciding to get into this race or thinking about getting into this race, they've got to make that case sooner or later. Voters aren't going to do it on their own.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.